I'm on Independence Square in Vlorë, coastal city in Albania, where independence for Albania was proclaimed in 1912. At the time, the population of Vlorë was 5,000 people. It's now a city, beautiful city, of over 100,000 people. It's a city which Swansea should be and could be, and Cardiff, if it wasn't ruled by people with the ambition lower than that curb and property developers. You can see some of the old buildings, the Hocha, the communist era buildings on the side streets, which are falling down literally. But in this place they built beautiful office blocks and apartments rather, solid, everything within 15 minutes of walking, the parks, the shops, everything. So this is square. Now in 1912, when Albania declared independence, Lord J.R. Jones was tabling a motion for a Parliament for Wales. Pretty much similar to what we have now, and all the same arguments, including complaining about railways. That wasn't passed. The First World War came through. The Liberals weren't really interested. He then left and joined the Labour Party by some kind of scheme which they knew they would lose his seat. So he committed suicide in 1935, if I remember correctly. So in 1912, when the Welsh were faffing about with a weak parliament and thinking, we're not very good, we can't really do this, we don't have the talent in Wales, we don't have the powers, when Wales was the biggest coal exporting country in the world, when we would literally have been like Kuwait. The Albanians just got on with it. And the Brits and the Unionists laugh at the Albanians. Oh, if Wales was independent, we'd be like Albania. And some kind of supremacist and vaguely racist comments like that, which always comes up when you talk about independence for Wales and comparing it maybe with the small countries. Well, I've been here for over a week now. Albania is a fantastic country. Beautiful. There's problems with littering. There's problems with urban spatial planning, shall we say, outside towns. And I'm sure there's other problems as well. But it's functioning. And it can able to do this with the same population in Wales. Now, in 1912, Cardiff, Wales was the biggest coal exporting city in the world. We had literacy and everything in Wales. Albania was, in many respects, and this is said with respect, a late medieval society. Illiteracy was probably around 90%. 90% of the population of less than 1 million people were peasant farmers, self-sufficient, who'd been ruled by the Ottoman Turks for about 500 years. So very, very weak, if not non-existent civil society. What civil society was through the Muslim networks, and then through maybe the Young Turks, because of course Albania was part of the Ottoman Empire. They grabbed their chance in 1912, obviously the context of the First Balkan War. Within a year, the Second Balkan War kicks off. And then within 2 years, in 1914, you have the First World War. So this is a context of Albania getting its independence. Balkan War, First World War, on its territory, not sending boys to France like we did, on its territory, the Serbs retreating into Albania, wreaking havoc, the Allies using it as a launch pad. In fact, the Albanians were talking about joining with the Ottoman Turks to try and take Kosovo as well, but that was leaked and didn't happen. After the First World War, we had a crash in society and the economy. The Italians are by bribes and threats trying to take over the country, literally. Zog declares himself essentially king or dictator. Then the Second World War happens, again on its territory. Wars happening here on the land of Albania. Albania, of course, let's remember, unlike the sophisticated big countries, which the Unionists are always so proud of, is the only country in Europe where there are more Jews at the end of the Second World War than the beginning. That is, these peasant people, the supremacists of the big nations, British, French, German, Russian, looked down upon, they looked after the Jews. And I'm sure that didn't happen in any other great European country with European points of view and civilization. The Albanians saved more Jews in the Second World War, and then more of them after the war than the first before then. So straight after that, then you have a sociopath, Enver Hoxha became president. 45 years essentially of Hoxhaism. That crashes down. The population then gets embroiled in a pyramid scheme which crashes the economy in the 1990s. And on top of all that, it's still a functioning country. It's absolutely incredible that there are people walking around Wales today with kids, with mortgages, working, but still saying, oh, Wales can't really afford independence, oh, Wales isn't good enough. Albania has had a terrible 20th century, literally a terrible 20th century. They've managed to build a country and they're functioning as an independent state with their own language, their own currency, their own embassies. They're not still sending members of parliament to Belgrade or Istanbul or so on anymore. They're doing it all here. So I take my hat off to the Albanians, great respect for them. They've been ridiculed, they've been humiliated, they've been made fun of, they're always implied to be dodgy, that something Albanian itself is some kind of byword for failed state. So anytime Wales, when I was growing up, talked about independence, oh, you'll be like Albania. You know what? I'll take it, because at least they're making their own mistakes and they're making good on those mistakes as well. So it's 2023. As a Welshman, I'm thinking, come back here in 20 years' time, 15, let's say 2040. And I tell you what, this city, Vlorë, will be magnificent. It's already a beautiful city, fantastic weather. This is the most beautiful city I've been in Albania, to be fair. But they're sorting themselves out. How Wales will be, except for being some kind of tourist destination and wildlife park of some sort, either will, and there's some, the guys, or retirement home. That's what's looking into Wales if we don't sort ourselves out. So if Albania can become independent, win independence, keep it through huge pressures against both internal, lack of structure, lack of civil society to begin with, then 2 world wars on its territory, then it's essentially a psychopathic communist dictator, which obliterated civil society, so it's very difficult then to build it in the 1990s, then surely Wales can. There's absolutely no reason why Wales can't become an independent state. And we need to show some respect, show some humility, go to countries like Albania, the other East European countries, see what they do wrong, and they have done things wrong, the things they can learn from us, and see what they've done right, because I think on balance they're doing more things right and they're going in the right direction generally. We can argue about the minutiae of politics and some of the things going on in society than we in Wales have. So let's show some respect, let's ditch the British arrogance and supremacist view of these countries and look at them as brothers and sisters and see how we can benefit from knowing more about them, being a bit more like them in terms of winning our independence, and then obviously disagreeing where we think there are things in which we disagree with them, maybe things which we think we do better than them. So from Albania, from Vlorë, the birthplace of Albanian independence, pob hwyl, and we'll speak again.